Alright, so in this video I'm going to be going over dialogue boxes and some effects of them. Basically, in order to understand any of the things I'm going to be talking about, it is important to distinguish between a normal dialogue box and just a text box. Basically, there's two types of subtitle boxes in this game. The first one, the one that you come across less often, is a dialogue box. They are the ones that, when you hit them, Bilbo will say something alongside them, usually what the box says, or something very, very similar. There are a few instances where the subtitles are slightly off from what the box actually says, but those are called dialogue boxes. The other type is just called a text box. Those are the ones where subtitles appear, but Bilbo doesn't actually say anything. Like that. Now, it is important to distinguish the differences between those two because, there are actually differences in what the two do, and I'm going to have to, die real quick in order to demonstrate my point.
Oh, Bilbo.
Dialogue boxes. First of all, if you speedrun the game, I'm sure you've noticed that, if you exit the game during a dialogue box, in any level aside from Overhill and Underhill, which I'll go through Overhill and Underhill later, but if you exit the level during a dialogue box and then start again, the effect of the subtitles will actually carry through, and at the beginning of Dreamworld, you'll get the subtitles saying, "In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit." You'll see that here in just a second. Just like that. You won't get any effects other than that. Once you skip the cutscene, that effect will be gone. Now, the other effect of subtitles is best shown, or the other effect of dialogue boxes is best shown in the level Roast Mutton. I can actually show you pretty much all of the other effects of dialogue boxes in this level. For some reason, when a dialogue box is up on the screen, there's multiple ways that you normally would be able to take damage that you just can't take damage for some reason. And I'll be showing those off with the Burberry leaves that are right up here. One of those, and I'll show that I haven't hacked the game or anything. I can definitely take damage from these plants over here, but for some reason, when there's a dialogue box on the screen, you cannot take damage from the plants. As you could see there for a second, they were biting me and it was doing nothing. There's multiple ways that you can't take fall damage. And sorry, I know I'm kind of repeating quite a bit here, but, you can see I long jumped quite a ways down and didn't take damage from that. I'm gonna have to die to show off anything else here. So I'm trying to get back up to take more fall damage. Unfortunately, this is the only dialogue box that, I can really use in this area, so I have to keep dying in order to re-show it off. Now, in regards to the fall damage, you can't take, walking off edges fall damage. And you can't take long jumping off edges fall damage, but you still can take, regular jump fall damage. As you can see, I walked off the edge that time and didn't take any damage. Even though all of these falls should definitely be doing enough damage to at least, like, injure me quite a bit. So let me go ahead and kill myself again. And I'll show off the very last one, which is normal just jumping off the edge fall damage, which, when jumping off an edge, I don't know exactly why, but jumping off an edge will still produce the correct amount of damage, like just a regular jump. As you can see. Now, the very last attribute of these dialogue boxes that I can think of outside of Overhill and Underhill, again, this only works in levels that aren't Overhill and Underhill. If you trigger a cutscene during a dialogue box, you can actually move around during the cutscene, and you can see that you can't collect things during the cutscene. And I intentionally used a different dialogue box that time just because I like that dialogue box a bit better because you get that angle looking out toward that area. But as you can see, it works with basically any dialog box.
Come back quick if all is well. If not, come back if you can.
Now again, this happens in pretty much any level except for Overhill and Underhill. We call this glitch walking while talking for obvious reasons. We are walking around during a cutscene while talking to an NPC. Now, for some reason during Overhill and Underhill, I'm not exactly sure what it was, and I'm going to take this time during playing up to Overhill and Underhill to talk about some theories of why this is. But Overhill and Underhill doesn't have quite the same effects of dialog boxes. I haven't actually tested the fall damage during dialog boxes, so I don't know about that one. I do know that the walking while talking glitch does not take place during Overhill and Underhill, and my guess as to why that is would be something along the lines of the developers probably noticed the walking while talking glitch because there's a dialog box at the very, very, very beginning of the level, right before the firewood, where Bilbo says firewood for Bolfer. And if you're moving at even any sort of pace, you will end up hitting that dialogue. You will end up hitting the cutscene during that dialog box. So my guess is the developers probably noticed that when you hit that cutscene, that happened, that you were able to move around during the cutscene. So that's my guess as to why they patched it out, but they didn't patch it out in quite the right way. Dialog boxes in Overhill and Underhill behave really strange. My guess is dialog boxes during that level are treated more like cutscenes than any other level. You can still pause during them, you can still move around during them, on the GameCube version at least. On the PC and PS2 versions, I know there's at least one where you can't move around during, and I don't think you can pause during it either. And I'm going to go ahead and use a different dialog box, because I want to show off that the walking while talking glitch doesn't work with this one. As you can see, I'm not able to move around. Now this is a longer dialog box, so I can show it off better with this one. I'm going to go ahead and exit the game during the dialog box, and if you guys remember what happened the last time I exited during a dialog box in An Unexpected Party, you should remember that the effects of the subtitles carried through into Dreamworld. So we got the subtitle at the start that said, "In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit." Well, this is the reason that I believe that the dialog boxes are probably treated more like cutscenes in Overhill and Underhill, because if you do that in Overhill and Underhill, if you exit during one of the dialog boxes and then start a new game, you actually enter a deload state. Now, I'm going to be making a video on the differences between deload and onloading, the differences between those terms. So, we don't refer to this as an onload. We refer to this specifically as a deload state, and basically, the simple way to put it is, when you're in deload, the game basically thinks that you're in a cutscene, even though you're playing the level. So right now, the game has this belief that we are in a cutscene. So because of that, other cutscenes aren't triggering, because you can't trigger two cutscenes at the same time. And this is another thing that you can observe with the walking while talking glitch if you try to trigger multiple cutscenes at the same time. Now, with a deload, because you can't trigger cutscenes, you can't exit levels in normal ways, like you would normally be able to. Like, for example, the cutscene trigger didn't work. The only way you can end levels is with some sort of dev exit. So, exits which don't trigger cutscenes, triggers which don't trigger cutscenes. That's all I really care to talk about in regards to text boxes and dialog boxes. Text boxes don't have these features. If you exit during a text box, you're not going to get anything like that. Text boxes don't disable damage. But yeah, that's really everything I needed to talk about. So, thank you for watching.